So there is some sanity in the overwhelmingly constitutionally insane state of California, and it comes in the form of a Superior Court judge by the name of James Crandall, who made a ruling regarding your neighbor, not too far away, Huntington Beach. And that is a city which is a charter city in California. Your city, Los Alamitos, is also a charter city. How do you see this shaping up for the overall fight against the sanctuary policies in California?
Yeah, Graham, thank you. This is a great news for California. It's a great victory against anti-sanctuary laws, and especially for local control. When we had started this as a city of one at the very beginning, Huntington Beach was always on the edge of this, and they've been a great partner through this process. I think that really we knew down deep inside this was a California constitutional issue and that the state was trying to take rights from the cities. And we need those rights to be able to work with the immigration officials and the federal government.
Specifically, when we say unconstitutional, we should point out that this is unconstitutional to the California Constitution.
Right.
As you pointed out, this is a California constitutional ruling anyway. And it boils down to this. You run and operate your own police force. And as a charter city, you should be able to have your police do as you choose, of course, within the law.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, what the judge did is he just basically went back to the California Constitution for charter cities and said, we've got really three really important powers. We can raise taxes in our city. We can have a police department. We can set our own priorities. When the state comes in and says, we're going to do sanctuary law, and by the way, federal government, you're not going to use our police force. A lot of us in charter cities were saying, Governor Brown, what are you talking about? These are not your police force. This is the city of Los Alamitos, the city of Huntington Beach, and now the judge has agreed with us.
Makes sense. Now, meantime, you have Governor Moonbeam and Xavier Becerra, the Attorney General of California, sounding very defiant over this ruling. This is in part what they're saying. Preserving the safety and constitutional rights of all our people is a statewide imperative which cannot be undermined by contrary local rules. We will continue working to ensure that our values and laws, like the California Values Act, are upheld throughout our state. Number one, this sounds like they're going to possibly defy the ruling. I suppose we'll have to wait and find out. Number two, right. It appears as though they're probably going to appeal this thing. How do you view their response?
Well, I think a couple things. First off, I think that, we should just decide now if we want the state of California to run all local law enforcement, we ought to just turn the keys over. Right. From our perspective, this is worth fighting for. I do think that this thing will probably be appealed with the Huntington Beach case. We're dealing with the same exact legal theory and issue with the ACLU lawsuit against us, who sued us for doing the anti-ordinance. And end up happening is this will get appealed probably all the way through to the appellate court and the state Supreme Court. At the same time, the U.S. versus the state of California is looking at the same issue, but at a federal jurisdiction. So we've always anticipated that this thing would probably have to go from both directions. And that's why most cities in California that joined this whole process, this fight, this revolt, but basically got either resolution supporting Huntington Beach or ourselves. And they also did an amicus brief with the federal government to show support of the U.S.
So you fully expect to go to the state Supreme Court as well as as well as the United States Supreme Court. But I'm interested about your residents. And this is not cheap. This is costing money. It's money well spent, in your opinion, and in my opinion as well. What are your constituents saying about this? I would say not the silent majority in California, certainly, but a silent plurality of Californians probably support you.
Yeah, something, Graham, I mean, we live in the heartland of the sanctuary state, so it's definitely it's a balanced opinion from the community. But, our commitment has always been, and I think Huntington Beach is doing the same thing, which is we are not going crazy and spending and bankrupting a city on this issue. We had put aside money to be able to have this hit its day in court. The reason why I set up the GoFundMe within our city was that we knew that if we were going to be able to make a difference, there is no established case law on this. That's why it's so important. Either Huntington Beach takes this all the way through or somebody does. And I think that's really why we've been trying to be prudent and get the focus on potentially alternative funding for a city our size.
What's the GoFundMe, Mayor? Can you tell us what it is in case people want to help out?
It's Mayor Edgar Stop Sanctuary Law.
Mayor Edgar Stop Sanctuary Law. GoFundMe?
Yes.
All right. Well, you know, you're a lone voice in the wilderness there. Not completely alone, but it must feel like you're the lone voice in the wilderness. But I'll leave you with this. Remember what Gandhi said, lone voice in the wilderness is not necessarily wrong. Mayor, thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.